Well, the differences between those who support a constitutional voice to Parliament, led by Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, and those who oppose it, led by Opposition Leader Peter Dutton, go beyond merely which way to vote when the issue is put to a referendum later this year. The main difference is far more substantial than that and involves an aspect that one side dares not talk about. Here is a sample of the reaction from the Prime Minister's side yesterday after Mr Dutton finally announced the Coalition would oppose the proposal. Aboriginal lobbyist Noel Pearson said, quote, "I couldn't sleep last night. I was troubled by dreams and the spectre of the Dutton Liberal Party's Judas betrayal of our country." Unquote. He accused Dutton of playing politics. Quote, "Dutton sees his own political future tied up with getting this referendum to fail. This is more about his calculations about Liberal versus Labor rather than what's good for the country." Unquote. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese agreed. Quote, "It's about whether we recognise Indigenous Australians in our Constitution and about whether we listen to them. This is about whether we as a country can be optimistic, can be enlarged, can come to terms with the fullness and richness of our history, can express our pride in sharing this continent with the oldest continuous culture on earth, or whether we shrink in on ourselves. This is an issue that should be above politics." Unquote. Well, you can say that again, Albo. Labor Senator Malandiri McCarthy said, quote, "This is not just about a voice of the Prime Minister, as Peter Dutton has wanted to play here. This is about the First Nations people who gathered at Uluru after much dialogue across the country." Unquote. And furthermore, The Age columnist David Crowe said, quote, "The voice is ultimately a vote on reconciliation and the nation's willingness to recognise and empower First Australians." Unquote. Well, the opposition to Peter Dutton's opposition didn't end there. Some of his own Liberals joined this chorus. Here is Tasmanian Liberal Premier Jeremy Rockliff. Quote, "I will campaign vigorously for a yes vote, as I passionately believe it is an important opportunity for all Australians to move forward in unity and understanding." Unquote. And Liberal member for the Tasmanian seat of Bass, Bridget Archer, said, quote, "I think we need to elevate this issue above divisive, nasty politics and walk together into the future with unity, with purpose, for a united Australia." Unquote. Well, exactly who is playing politics here? Mr Dutton's short announcement yesterday included a point that few, if any, supporters of the voice to Parliament dare mention. And it's this: the voice is, according to Mr Dutton, quote, "divisive and won't deliver the outcomes to people on the ground." Unquote. This is where Dutton can, and I predict will, win this debate, both for Australia and for the nation's most horrifically disadvantaged people. The accusation from his opponents that he is playing politics is hollower than the Hindenburg and destined to crash just as spectacularly.